Okay, so this is essentially the ultimate in aggressive Ottoman play. Speed it up as per usual. So I think they've changed it slightly such that for some reason, in my experience at least, it's normally they finish the sheep and then they go straight onto the house, so you don't need to actually click, but it doesn't seem to happen anymore. You need to seemingly need to click it, which is a bit weird. 9 on the feudal age, which is a bit intense, and I'm only just making enough villages whilst doing that. I also get slightly stuck on housing, so maybe 9's a little bit much. But I'm rushing castle as usual, so maybe 8 would be okay. It's just a scout getting into trouble. I've created an outpost nice and early this time, which is good. They try and use knights against me, but it's not really going to work because I've got that nice outpost there. They're trying to raid early, which is always a bit of a pain for me, but they don't do it particularly well. I'm also a little bit slow to move my scout out of the way, and here. So I'm not quite sure what the plan is here. They're kind of raiding well, they've like killed 1 person so far, I guess. Kind of pushed me off resources a little bit. But to be honest, it's not been... They've lost a lot of people and they haven't been doing it kind of quite as effectively as they might have been. They've lost another horse there. Lost 2 other horsemen. Not been doing it quite as well as perhaps others have raided me. Now in castle age already, which is nice, 11 minutes in. Starting to build some military structures. Again, you've got to be kind of wary about this, but they are in range just about from the town centre, and I realised that and then just used the town centre to take them out. So it's not really troubling me that much. That was fairly poor play on their part, to be honest. I could have easily... I would suggest come round, taking out some of these villagers around here, or gone on the wood that I haven't protected quite as well as the other resources. Trying for the gold again, you know, not a terrible idea. But then they're basically sacrificing horses to do a bit of damage to a mangonel, which is not... I don't really see the point. Seems to be a bit of a waste. I decided to just kind of spite them to go back on the berries, which they were looking to attack. I think the important thing here is to make sure that you've got enough villagers to really easily take out battering rams that are coming in, which is why having sheep around is really useful. And then this is the point where can you kind of retreat with the right people, retreat with the villagers and leave the janissaries to do damage to... There we are. So I do alright in this game, but I think I do catch some spearmen at all. Yeah, same thing. This time I don't bother with taking too many villagers with me to take the battering ram because they've already got villagers there. Just mend slight damage on the outpost, and then we're done. Raiding wasn't particularly effective by the enemy this game. Didn't really... Let's have a look at numbers. 51 econ, military 26, and they are 48 econ, military 6, so they're struggling. Which is, I'd suggest they're just wasting resources by trying to raid, and they're not raiding particularly well, so it's not really affecting me. Get the military stuff up. Try and dominate the map. Yeah, they kind of take out some villages, but this is also good for line of sight, so it doesn't really... I decided to go after this relic for some reason. I decided that, you know what, I'm going to try and get that relic, but I'm not sure. They initially run away, and then they, for some reason, at this point I'm looking at those villagers thinking, I don't know if I'm going to survive this fight, but I might as well take out some villagers. And also they come back with the relic, probably to try and convert my units. But that was an error on their part, because that's not a strong unit. I can quite easily destroy it with a janissary, with my janissaries. And they're also kind of umming and ahhing about whether to go after my mangonels. They're now deciding to go after the mangonels and leave the janissaries to fire at them in the back, and then they turn around again. So this kind of... obviously not sure how to deal with the situation. And again, and again. Oh dear. So although I've got a very small force here, really, 5 janissaries left and 4 men-at-arms and 1 spearman, they're still suffering quite badly. Yes, they're going to win it, no doubt. But it's going to be a cost. Now they're using the villagers against the mangonels, which also doesn't make any sense. Whilst that was happening, just put up a palisade wall just to stop them coming around the back, because I quite want to put some farms down here. This was quite a quick game, as you can see, comparative to the last one. They, for some reason, decided to do that, which, you know, again, why? Like, I don't know why they tried that. I don't know, maybe they're severely underestimating me, or they're thinking that I can't see that far, or I don't know what it was. It ends up being a reasonable fight. I have to kind of reinforce it a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Palisade walls up, which is good. And I'm chucking some villagers over to chop wood over here and get some gold from over here. We're about 25 minutes in, so it's actually a bit late. I normally attack before this, but they have been raiding a little bit. And I've basically lost an army up here. Not a very big army, but still lost an army. And so now I go on the major attack at 2640. At the same time they are scouting, so I have to kind of be aware of that. Now I'm getting into the next stage. And so this is kind of the point. I decide, you know what, I'm gonna just go for it with this attack. On the last game against the English, I thought that it would have been a good idea to do exactly what I'm just about to do, which is to use a huge number of villagers in an attempt to whack in that first attack I did, in an attempt to whack the Seagate Castle right next to their base, and be quite aggressive about it as well. Because sometimes you can be a little bit reticent to in the placement of that castle, and then that can that can end up being a kind of pointless placement if you, for example, put it down here. There's no real use for that. So I've taken a total of, let's just check, 40 villages, and they somehow, they just walk through my army, and I just have to, I mean, they'll have seen me by now anyway, so I just have to just kill them. For some reason they don't respond straight away. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe they're building up or trying to prepare, or yeah, they're just trying to get troops together, I guess. But so here's what I'm talking about basically. Got a nice army, 45 Janissaries, 19 man-at-arms, 2 mangonels and a counterweight trebuchet. I've also got 40 villagers, which is a lot, I admit it. Seagate Castle, placed very aggressively, but defended quite nicely by these troops, as you can see. And it's quite nice as well because these men-at-arms are kind of going around the rock to protect the villagers. It's almost ideal. And they're not, because 40 villagers is going to get the Seagate Castle up pretty quickly, I'd suggest. I'm also trebucheting their fortress, just why not. And that's going to give me a range of basically their entire base, meaning that the game's over. There's not much they can do at this point. Again, this is why this is quite a nice tactic. You can also do it with a Chinese military landmark as well. Obviously you have to build a wall for that, and it has longer range. I think it has longer range. And so yeah, they can't do anything now. They're done. As soon as my units reveal theirs, it'll be, and I'm also obviously upgrading the spring rolls, so that will also come into play in a second. But yeah, this is the most this is really as aggressive as you can get with the Ottomans, I'd suggest. Perhaps you can try and do it a little bit earlier, but an end result will be the same.